Alrighty, good evening, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster getting back here once again. We're going to give you guys a live update going over the potential of the winter storm as we get towards tomorrow here. And before everybody starts asking questions about specific cities and specific counties and stuff like that, be patient with me. Give me 10 to 20 minutes. I got to go over all the information. There's a ton of information. There's been some changes as well, so be patient with me. Stay in this live stream, and I will get your questions answered as quickly as we can. We've got multiple people on this live stream as well. A lot of moderators on here. They're going to be trying to help you guys out. So stay patient with me, guys. Let me get over this first, and then we'll start talking about the information here. Okay, so this is what we got at this point. We've got a winter storm warning for much of western and northwestern Arkansas, which I fully expected that to occur. So I've been mentioning over the last couple of days that the Ozarks and the Ouachitas were going to be your highest potential of seeing the heaviest snow, and then the question mark got bigger as you moved east into the southeast here. So that's why we have the winter weather advisory going from Batesville to Russellville all the way down to Mount Ida and down to DeQueen, because there's just so many questions right now on how much is ultimately going to fall. Now, for our folks in Central Arkansas and everybody that's tuning in from those areas and up to northeastern Arkansas, the question has gotten even bigger over the last 12 to 24 hours compared to getting smaller. So we're going to go over all that. We're going to talk about what's caused the uncertainty. We're going to dive into computer model guidance. And as soon as I get to that point, I will start tackling questions here. Okay, so this, as I said before, this is the winter storm warning. I kind of made it into county maps as well, so everybody kind of gets the perspective on where the winter storm warning is at this point. It's going to go all the way until Wednesday morning. And as I mentioned before, the winter weather advisory, same thing. Now, I cannot rule out once we get a better idea of what's going to be happening, and if we can get model guidance to stop flip-flopping for 5 seconds, we could probably get this advisory brought down into potentially central Arkansas and down to southwestern Arkansas by first thing tomorrow morning, if we have a better handle by that point. But the questions are still uncertain right now in terms of how much we're going to ultimately see here in central or down in the southwestern Arkansas here. Okay, so let's talk about timing here, and I'm going to leave this up for a little bit so everybody can kind of get a visual on what overall timing looks like. We posted this on the page earlier on. But western Arkansas, we've got you right at 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. So if you got to go get groceries and stuff like that, if you're in a winter storm warning, get it done first thing tomorrow morning. I know a lot of people are, asking about school and all the other stuff. We'll have all the information on the page and also on the Facebook group we have as well. So you don't have to worry about missing that information here. But if you have anything you got to do, it'll get done first thing tomorrow morning if you're in western Arkansas. And that's from Bayville all the way down to Fort Smith to Waldron, over to Harrison here. And that same thing goes to southwestern Arkansas as well. Get it done in the morning because the precipitation is going to be coming in during the afternoon. So we're going 2 p.m. to 4 a.m. And a lot of people have been asking, can we get a little bit more specific than that? I cannot, because that's how long the event is going to last. It's going to go from 2 p.m. all the way to 4 o'clock in the morning, late Tuesday night and early Wednesday morning. That is the general timing for everybody in that zone. So you cannot get any more specific than the overall timing right now. And then you go to the east, we're talking a little later, about 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, all the way to about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, first thing Wednesday morning as the system begins to lift out. And then in northeastern Arkansas, 7 p.m. up there as of now, but we're still watching to see if we can kind of trend that line even more in terms of if you're going to see rainfall or snow or anything like that. But the overall winter weather potential up there, the timing is going to go from 7 p.m. Tomorrow evening all the way to about 5 o'clock in the morning. And we should be wrapping this up by the time we get towards Wednesday morning here. There could be some lingering flurries nearby, especially for our northern zones, but it shouldn't be anything significant for your day on Wednesday here. Now, let's talk about the grand question here in terms of the accumulation. Now, there's been some changes with this evening's update because guidance has came in a little bit warmer. Now, the biggest thing I want to stress with guidance right now, no particular guidance outside of the Euro has a handle on this situation. The Euro has been a brick wall and it's been consistent. All the other model guidance has either trended south and then back north and then trended back south and then back north. So everyone that's asking about, why can't I get a solid answer on accumulation is because the data right now is not our best friend. We're fighting data. We're trying to condense it down as much as possible, but Every 5 seconds, we're getting a trend south, and then we're getting a trend north, and then we're getting a trend south, and then we're getting a trend north. So it's been window washer effect with this system here, and hopefully we'll get some kind of answers with tonight's data and the first thing tomorrow morning and stuff like that. We still have a solid 24 hours. Actually, take that back. We have a solid 12 to 18 hours before this event gets started. But right now, those questions in terms of who's going to see what is still very uncertain. I want to stress something too, especially for my folks in Central Arkansas, because I know a lot of people are getting excited about the snow and everything like that, which is perfectly understandable. I want to stress something to you guys right now. This forecast is likely to change. There is a lot of uncertainty with this forecast the further south and east you go. The Ozarks and the Ouachitas in western Arkansas and northwest Arkansas, you're already a solid. I have full confidence that you're going to see heavy snow over there and a full-blown potential snowstorm over there in western and northwestern Arkansas. So you guys are good to go. You're solid. The question gets big by the time we get towards central and southwest and the northeast Arkansas. How much warmer advection can come in from southeastern Arkansas and potentially cut you guys from seeing the snowfall here? That's the number one question that most computer model guidance has been trying to have an answer for outside of the European model. The European model has been the most consistent and most flatline model we've had so far. But you can't take it for granted because it's just one model. It has no support from the other models right now. So we have to watch it closely. But at this moment, I'd say from Texarkana to Little Rock to Jonesboro, I've kept you guys still getting snow for now. But be wary of changes. I want to stress that at this given moment. Okay, I want to stress that, especially like stuff from Texarkana, Hot Springs, Arkadelphia, Little Rock, up to Jonesboro, up to Blytheville. This could either go way to the south and the snow totals come back south, or it goes further to the north and snow totals get completely removed altogether. So we're going to have updates all day tomorrow. I'm planning on going live in the morning and stuff like that, so you don't have to worry about missing any information. We're going to be here. I promise you guys, we're not going anywhere. We're going to be here. So that's the one thing I want to stress. But in western, northwestern Arkansas, I'm solid. I'm pretty solid that you guys are going to see the snowfall over there by the time we get towards tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, going into tomorrow night here. So what is causing all this doggone uncertainty? That's the number one word you guys have heard over the last couple of days here. Why is there so much uncertainty with this? Because there's an area of low pressure that develops, and I've got this graphic wrong. It actually develops south of Austin near the Houston area, and it moves northeast. So it's taking the southern track, which is awesome. But what model guidance continues to do, and I told you guys this in the last live stream, we need this upper level trough that's coming in to open up and staying instead of being a closed bowling ball low pressure, which I'm going to show you with computer model guidance here in just a little bit. So if we can get this thing to open up, then what will end up happening is this low pressure will not have time to include, and it will continue to move off to the east, and that will bring the snow line further to the south. The main surface low is taking a classic track to get snowfall here in Arkansas. The problem is it's including back into southeastern Arkansas, and it's making the forecast along I-30 to the 167 corridor extremely difficult, almost impossible to forecast right now, because there's just so much uncertainty of how much warmer can be affected north and everything like that. Now, I will say this, and that's from my weather enthusiasts out there that's paying attention to this. We need to pay attention to the severe threat down here along the Gulf Coast. There's an enhanced risk, 10% hash for strong tornadoes down here along the Gulf Coast. If that gets going, it's going to limit your warmer advection from coming to the north. That's almost a given. It's going to happen. But how much can sneak away from those severe thunderstorms down there along the Gulf Coast and come up into Arkansas? That's where the uncertainty remains at this current time here. So we'll continue to monitor it very close. But at this moment, this is what's causing the uncertainty. So how do we get this thing to move further to the south? Well, like I mentioned before, you've got the perfect track with the main surface low. That's awesome. You've got it down there, far southern Texas, going along the Gulf Coast, going into southern Mississippi. It's taking the right track. The problem is it's trying to include back to the northwest. And that's because you're having the trough injection coming out at the exact same time. So if this doesn't include, and like I mentioned before, I've seen situations where it was supposed to include and it doesn't do it. If it doesn't do it, the snow line comes rapidly south. I'm prepared for that as well. And if it includes and it goes further northwest than expected, I'm prepared to go all cold rain here in Central Arkansas. That's why I'm urging you guys, especially along I-30, that 167 corridor, make sure that you stay tuned with our forecast, guys, and don't get upset, don't get frustrated if you don't see snowfall. I promise you guys, just looking long range, this is not going to be our last rodeo. We're going to have more threats coming up as we get into February. So don't take it personally if you don't see snowfall, guys. It's not the end of the world, I promise you. So snowfall, like I said before, much greater chance up there in western, northwestern Arkansas. The question remains for our folks in central at this current point. So what I'm going to do for just a bit is I'm going to switch this over to the computer model guidance. So give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get this to switch over for me. And there it is. So there's I'm going to talk about the wrap model, and also going to talk about the difference that everyone's seen with the snowfall totals as well. The difference between the 10-to-1 ratio and the Couture model, which uses the forecasted ratio here. So let's talk about the wrap. And I want to kind of throw some attention with the wrap model here, and I'm going to show you exactly what I was talking about in that previous graphic. So this is what we're looking at. It's about hour 23. This will put you about 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Here's your main area of low pressure, which I still don't think it has a good handle on it right now. I do not think it has a good handle on the low pressure, which is granted because the low hasn't even developed. The low develops late tonight and tomorrow morning. That's why I'm kind of concerned about a very last-minute shift, because once we get the low to develop, then guys, it's like, okay, we got the data in the system. The HR is going to be a really important model to watch, along with, I believe it is the SREF model and all the other models. Already, the wrap model, the HR, the very short-range models, you got to watch that tomorrow, along with surface observations during the day. So you can see what it does, and you can immediately see a red flag with the wrap model. There's your area of low pressure way to the north than what the HR has. 1,006 millibar low going through southeastern Texas. Now, this has changed significantly over the last couple of runs, because it's gone from being along the Gulf Coast to now being in southeast Texas. So there's a northward trend. Heavy snow starting to develop in the Ozarks over here in western Arkansas. And then you can see what happens. This is what I mean. Area of low pressure takes that track right through southern Arkansas if you go with the wrap model. We'll have to wait and see on that. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll take a look at it when we get a little closer, which will be tomorrow. But it's going to depend on what happens with this trough as it kicks out towards the northeast. If it stays a closed low, it's going to favor a northern track. If it opens out, it's going to favor a southern track. So we'll keep an eye on this. But this track right here does not favor central Arkansas at all. This would be a northern and northwestern Arkansas event. And as the system pulls away, you may have a shot to transition over first thing Wednesday morning, but your accumulations would be probably at best a trace here in central Arkansas, and then much greater across northwestern and northern Arkansas. So that's what I'm saying. You guys are solid up here. The question remains what happens down here in central and southwestern Arkansas at this current point. So let's take this back to the 15Z, which was this morning's run, and you can see what it did. So there it is right there, and you can immediately spot the difference. Area of low pressure goes through southeastern Texas into central Louisiana, which is a much favorable track. And then what ends up happening is it does try to include, but it goes into far southeastern Arkansas, northeast Louisiana, and then Mississippi, and then it's out here, and that's how you get snowfall here in central Arkansas. So even the short-range guidance models don't have a handle on the system right now because it hasn't simply developed. And we won't have that until tomorrow. So that's why we're there's been a lot of uncertainty and a lot of different ideas going around because of that here. So let's take a look at high-risk nav, and I promise you guys I'm going to get to your questions here in just a little bit. But I want to kind of show you guys this first before I start diving too deep into the questions here. So this is the high-risk nav, and you're going to see the exact same thing. There's your heavy snow, northwestern Arkansas, the Ozarks. I'm really tempted to go a foot of snow up there in the Ozarks because you guys are going to see a lot of this as we get towards late tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow night here. But NAM model is doing the exact same thing as what the wrap model is doing, is keeping this thing north. So let's see what happens. Remember, we've gone from looking north to a trend south, to a trend north, to a trend south. It's been a constant window windshield wiper effect over the last 24 to 48, even in some cases as beyond as 72 hours out, where model guidance is still all over the place. So just keep that in mind across the year here. Now, the one model, and like I mentioned before, the one model that's been all by itself, it's just been a stronghold on what to expect is going to be the European model here. We're going to take a look at this, and this is the 18Z, so I haven't really too much looked at the 18Z and seen it's what to do. But the 18Z is basically doing the exact same thing. It has in central Arkansas, along I-30, and then back in the northwestern Arkansas, and the low pressure takes that similar track. So we can take a look at the accumulations real quick, and this is what the European model is wanting to do with this. And it's basically the same from what it's been over the last couple of runs. You can take this back. So this is the 12Z from earlier, and you can notice just a slightward trend to the northwest. I mean, very slight, but it still has that overall idea along I-30, that 167 corridor, north and west from there. So we'll keep an eye on this. Like I said before, the Euro's just been a brick wall with this accumulation, especially out here in southeastern Arkansas. Just want to throw a little bit out here, but we'll have to watch that close. But I'd say from Texarkana to Little Rock, up to Jonesboro, north and west from there is where you're going to have the best shot of seeing snowfall with this event. But I have seen strange things happen as we got closer in time here. So this is the HR, and this is the 0Z HR that's now coming out, and I'm going to try to drag this out and see how long it's gone out. So we can take a look at that real quickly here, and this is what the HR is wanting to do. Now, obviously, you can see that right there, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it did. Central Arkansas, you're a cold rain. It has gone a little bit further to the north with this, just a little bit. It's keeping Central Arkansas cold rain throughout much of this event, and that's something that we're going to have to watch as we get towards tomorrow. So that's why I'm urging you guys in this area, keep an eye on the forecast. That's what's been going on. HR has been trending north. RAP's been trending north. We'll have to wait and see as we get towards first thing tomorrow morning here. But what ends up happening is you can see transition on the backside, and that's it at this point. So we'll keep an eye on it. But at this moment, there is a trend to the north here. So make sure you stay tuned with our forecast here. But the Euro, even with the 18Z, has been the one consistent model out of all of them. So let's take a look at this real quick. I'm going to take a look at a few questions real fast here. Not really too concerned about the power outage potential with this setup here. You're not going to have the wind profiles or anything like that to support any power outage potential, so I'm not really too concerned about that. Robin, I do appreciate you so much for being here. Like I said, for power outage shouldn't be a problem. Thank you, Dustin, for getting that comment. Let me see here, going over all the comments right now. So the thunder snow potential, especially in North Arkansas, we'd have to wait and see. I'm going to say no. Like I said, there's been people kind of throwing that word around and everything like that. I'm going to say no to it right now, mainly because of the fact that, things can change over, a 12 to 24-hour period, and you have to have certain ingredients to get thunder snow, and I'm going to say no to it right now here. Heavy snow will be possible, but I'm not really expecting a thunder snow potential here. And I can take a look. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at this. And this is going to be most unstable instability, and it's not matching up where the heaviest snowfall is over here in western Arkansas. So something that we'll keep an eye on here, but I'm going to say no to that comment right now. So I'm real curious to see what the HR did with the sleet. And give me 1 second here. It does have some sleet, some heavy sleet over here in southwestern Arkansas, but along I-30 at 167 corridor, right through here. If that low goes further north, it's going to screw you guys up here. But if it goes further south, it's going to bring it further south. So that's the biggest thing right now. Continue to monitor us. I have the snowfall still in place across central Arkansas, but things can and will change here. Once we get to the morning, if I still see the same trend first thing in the morning, we're probably going to cut the snowfall totals here in central Arkansas. So a little bit of bad news if you don't like snow. If you do like snow, but there's a little bit of good news if you don't like it. So just something that we're going to keep an eye on here. And also I'm going to probably make a sleet map first thing tomorrow morning as well if this continues to trend, because it's wanting to throw out an inch or two of sleet on top of the heavy snowfall potential as well here. So Hot Springs at this moment, it's a wait and see. And like I said before, this is going to come down to an event right now, to the Nowcast event, where if it trends to the north, it's a cold rain here, but if it trends to the south, then what ends up happening is that does bring it back down to Hot Springs into the Little Rock area. So this is becoming, and I talked about this last live stream as well, this is becoming a nowcast situation. Model guidance is all over the place. The Euro's been the one consistent one, but HR's gone north, RAP's gone north, all the other computer models have gone north, and I'm really concerned that we get to tomorrow morning and it shifts back to the south. So just something that we'll keep an eye on here at this point, or it goes further north at this time here as well. So like I said before, I know everybody is not wanting rain and everything like that. We don't control the weather, folks. As much as everyone wants us to, we don't control the weather. So that's the biggest thing at this point. But I'm really worried that the guidance does not have a handle on the surface low right now because it hasn't developed. So I'm really worried if that's the case here. But we'll keep an eye on here. It's kind of similar to what happened to ZRZ last night. It went from trending north during the day yesterday to trending south, and now it's going back to the north with the ZRZ data tonight. So let's see what happens. We'll keep an eye on it over the next couple of hours here. But let me take a look at everything at this point. Let me see. Will Sheridan need anything? Unfortunately, it's going to be a cold rain down there in southeastern Arkansas. I know you guys have been dealing with all the tornado activity down there, the severe weather activity down there in southeastern Arkansas. But unfortunately, this go around, it's going to be a cold rain for our folks down there. So I'm going to leave this up. As a matter of fact, give me 1 second. I'm going to go back to the timing. I'm going to leave the timing up for a little bit while I'm answering your questions. That's really all the information I kind of have to go over this evening. It has been too much of a change except for that trend to the north. And like I mentioned before, we're not going to go ahead and, change our map because it trends to the north. You have to get a consistent run-to-run trend to the north, not just one particular run or one or two particular runs. You have to wait and see if it trends that way. So we'll keep an eye on it over the next couple of hours here. So let me see here. So roughly what time? I've got the time up right now at this point. So yeah, Central's going to be that cutoff as always. I know. And as frustrating as it is, that's just how it is because what's going on is the low pressure is going a little bit further north, but we'll see what happens with that at this point. It's been doing that over the last couple of days. It's been trending north, and then it trends south, and it's back north, and it's back south. So it's been real frustrating, especially for those trying to forecast here in central or in southwestern or even in northeastern Arkansas at this point. So will the clear skies northeast wind tonight? And that's another thing I'm worried about is temperatures busting. That's another thing that I'm worried about is guidance is not having a good handle on the overall temperatures here because temperatures are going to fall tonight. We're already down to 41 degrees as of 7:41 this evening. Temperatures are going to fall rapidly throughout tonight. Cloud cover comes in first thing tomorrow morning. We'll have to wait and see what temperatures look like throughout the day tomorrow and into tomorrow night. But at this moment, I'm going to say it's still on the table. I'm really worried about guidance not having a handle on this situation here. So for those under, yes, that's what it means. Thundering while snowing, guys. Like I mentioned before, don't go running with it or anything like that. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I was just explaining that situation because a lot of people have been wondering about it. And it's been kind of thrown around on social media. It's not going to happen, folks. Don't even expect it for tomorrow. So power outages, we're not really expecting power outages with this. We will have to watch Western Arkansas, but I'm not really expecting too big of a power outage issue tomorrow because you need the winds to kind of go along with the heavy snowfall potential. And we're talking 15 to 20 mile per hour winds at the max here. So how confident am I this going further south into central Arkansas? As a matter of fact, I'm not confident at all because it's been doing this. Trend to the north, trend to the south, trend to the north, trend to the south. So that's why I'm stressing so much. Everyone that's wanting snow in central Arkansas, you got to have that mindset of this could be potential cold rain too, because if that warm air advection sneaks in and it does cut off central Arkansas, then it will be a cold rain situation here. So we'll watch it closely, but at this particular moment, I'm not really confident. We'll see what happens first thing tomorrow morning. I have it in Metro for now, but we'll just have to wait and see with this. But the biggest thing is I want to throw out, it's the euro. It's the euro. And the euro that's been consistent with this over the last couple of days here. So something that we'll keep an eye on as we get a little closer here, okay? So I was trying to throw a pump fake. I can't really tell at this moment because you're just so close in range. You're so close in range with this right now that things can try to shift between between now and then. So it's very difficult to kind of pinpoint what models are doing right now. I'm just really worried that we don't have an area of low pressure right now to kind of develop here. So I'm just going over at this point. I'm not really expecting the winter storm warnings to come further south unless we get a better idea at this time here. So I'm just going over everything at this time. Still no ice concerns on the table. The accumulation map will be posted as soon as this live stream is over, which I'm about to end it at this time because that's all really the information I have at this point. It's just going over timing, going over the accumulations, and everything like that here. So let me take a look at everything at this point, and that's what we have right now. There's your snowfall totals, 6 to 10 up there in the Ozarks, higher down here as well, also in the Ouachita's. Uncertainty remains for our folks in central and southwestern and northeastern Arkansas. If that warm air advection comes in, it will cut you guys off here. Right now, I'm not going to budge your snowfall totals right now because of it, because it's just now occurring. But if that trend does continue into the morning, then we will be cutting snowfall totals here in central Arkansas, and it will go straight to a western and northwestern Arkansas event where some places up in Ozarks could see upwards to a foot of snow up there as well. So let me take a look here. I think that's really it in terms of all the questions and stuff like that. Not expecting that at all. And like I mentioned before, this is not going to be a February 2021 situation where you have significant cold air coming behind us. It's not going to be the case. As a matter of fact, any snow that does fall late tomorrow and Wednesday is going to rapidly transition over. Not transition over. It's going to rapidly melt by the time we get towards Wednesday afternoon and the Wednesday evening, and especially on Thursday. So that's the biggest thing right now, but I'm not expecting anything to rapidly freeze or anything like that. Your temperatures are not going to get that cold behind the system here. And that's the thing. Chris, like I mentioned before, you will have a problem Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. Beyond that point, you should not have too big of a concern with the road conditions, especially here in central or in southwest or northeast. Road conditions are going to be a nightmare up there in northwestern and western Arkansas, where you have much higher snowfall totals at this current time here. So I'm going to take a look at here real fast. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Dustin, for getting that. It's cold rain. Snow is wait and see at this time. Let me see here. I'm going over everything right now. Yeah, thank you so much for keeping us updated and everything like that. Now, if Austin, I see your comment as well. If the surface low does not develop, if the occluding process does not occur, then what ends up happening is this comes further to the south and ends up being a statewide event. So that's something also on the table. I'm not going to put a map out or anything like that because the chances of that is very, 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 very low. But stranger things have happened before, especially this upper level low doesn't close and ends up being an open trough. So we'll keep an eye on that at this point. But right now, I think the most certain forecast will probably be a closed low, trying to open up before it gets to Arkansas, and then we'll have to wait and see what happens as it gets into Arkansas. But I do agree. I have seen stranger things happen, especially with forecast at this point. So rainfall at this moment. Now, Cam was getting to that 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, especially for folks down there in southern and southeastern Arkansas. Some locally higher amounts. I'm not really expecting a significant flooding event down there in southern and southeastern Arkansas, but I do expect a cold rain to occur down there as well. So will Shreveport see anything? That's going to be a cold rain down there in Shreveport at this point. So like I mentioned before, Stacy, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of information coming your way over the next 12 to 18 hours. We're still learning about the system as much as you guys are, so make sure you stay patient with us at this point. Now, Elijah, to answer your question, that's also a possibility. That's happened so many times. That's why I call it a Nowcast event, because the area low pressure develops. Model guys don't have a good handle on it. It goes further south than expected, and it ends up being a bigger system than we were originally thinking. So we'll keep an eye on it. Like I mentioned before, things are going to change between now and then. But those that don't see snowfall, don't lose hope. I promise you guys, we're gonna have more opportunities next month. We're already looking at CP. As a matter of fact, I can take a look at this, and while I have the screen up, I'm gonna show you guys this, especially for those that are not gonna see snowfall. Now, this is for the next 8 to 14 days, and I'm gonna see if I can get this graphic up. There it is. So this is for the next 8 to 14 days per the Climate Prediction Center, and this is the risk for heavy snowfall here. Okay, so this is going to go for basically from Mena to Little Rock over to Memphis, North Arkansas to Central Arkansas once again. So that's what's what to do, and the time frame would be the 2nd all the way to the 6th. So that's our next storm system that we're going to have to watch as we get towards next week. Obviously, we're still trying to get through tomorrow and the Wednesday. Once we get past that time frame, then we'll start harping on that time of the February time frame. But this is our next one that we're going to keep an eye on here. There's already a risk for heavy snowfall potential for Central and North Arkansas. So something that we'll keep an eye on as the week progresses here. But this is the ongoing snowfall totals at this point. Let me see here. I'm going to go over everything right now here. So let me take a look at that here. So now I see your comments here. So snow pretty much guaranteed for Hot Springs. Yes and no. And like I mentioned before, because everybody's looking at this graphic and is probably trying to run with it. I'm going to urge you guys right now, if that trend to the north continues, this graphic is going to change significantly. It's going to be a lot of people seeing the cold rain versus the snowfall potential. So right now, have that guard up. If that low trends to the north, then we're done. We're not going to see the snowfall potential for Hot Springs or Little Rock down to Texarkana or Jonesboro, anything like that. It's going to be Mena, Mount Ida, Waldron up towards Fort Smith, up towards Harrison and Jasper to Fayetteville. Those are going to be the areas of concern over there in western Arkansas, northwestern Arkansas for the snowfall potential. So we're monitoring that close. I am noting that trend to the north, and right now I haven't accounted for it on this map, but things can and will change as we get a little closer in time here, guys. So why is winter weather so okay, Cody, that's going to be a no. I'm not expecting any severe weather or anything like that here in Arkansas. You're way too cold. You're way too cold to get severe weather. Why is winter weather so questionable? Because you have to get everything to set up perfectly here in Arkansas to get winter weather. Everything literally has to come together in perfect sync, especially for Central and South Arkansas, to get winter weather. It's much easier to get in the north and northwestern and western Arkansas, but I'm not really expecting, it's really hard to get winter weather this far south, especially in Central and South Arkansas, unless you get everything to sync perfectly. And a low going to the north, as opposed to going to the south, is really hurting us right now here. But let's see what happens at the end of the ball game at this point. So, yeah, Little Rock's always on that 50-50 line, guys. And that's it before. Paragould up there. Right now, I have you guys at a half an inch to an inch. And I'm urging you guys right now, I'm stressing this to a max. Don't go taking these snowfall totals and running with it. I'm stressing so much that if this trend to the north continues, a lot of people are going to get cut. But if it goes back to the south, then we'll bring the snowfall totals back to the south. But right now, I'm looking about a half an inch to an inch up there for your area. But I'm very concerned about that trend to the north. If that happens, then it's going to be some significant changes coming in the morning with this accumulation map here. So let me see here, going over everything right now. Still a wait and see game at this point. So, okay. So, yeah, a lot of people were asking about sleet. Sleet and hail is not the same thing. But, yeah, I'm not really expecting severe weather with this setup at this point. So, how long is it expected to last? Here's your timing question right here. All the way to about 5 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday morning. That's how long this is going to last. So I'm going to leave this up at this time here. So let me see here. I think that is it in terms of all the questions I'm seeing right now. That was just kind of like a broad brush of kind of giving you guys a kind of quick update on what we're expecting. This is the timing. The new accumulation map will be posted. We'll see. But the biggest thing is I'm trying to see if this is going to continue to trend to the north. I may not do it tonight. I may kind of hold it back until we get to first thing tomorrow morning to kind of see what ends up happening with the accumulation map in case we have to go back to the northwest with it. So we'll keep an eye on it, stuff like that. But this is your overall timing. Now, in Southeast Arkansas, I'm not really expecting any winter weather concerns at all unless this thing trends to the south. But in Central, Western, and Northern Arkansas, 2 p.m. to 4 to 5 a.m., 4 p.m. to 5 a.m. in Central and North Central, and then in Eastern and Northeastern Arkansas, 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. by the time we get towards that time frame here, okay? So, yes, we're watching that closely. It's too early right now to kind of get into it. Once we get past tomorrow to Wednesday, we'll tackle that once we get past those areas here. So, I think that is it. So, will the trend to the north affect Fort Smith? No, it will not. It will not affect Fort Smith at all. As a matter of fact, like I said before, western and northwestern Arkansas, you're solid even if this thing trends to the north. Now, it may hurt your accumulation some, especially in the river valley, but in the Ozarks and northwestern Arkansas, you're solid. As a matter of fact, this trends to the north, it's going to really help you guys out even more and get any heavier snowfall potential up there. So that's an interesting fact at this point. So we'll have to keep an eye on that at this current time here. So we'll have a better grip. It's going to be first thing tomorrow morning. And I'm planning on going live and all that good stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. But we'll have a better handle on data by the time we get towards tomorrow morning. But that 700 millibar dry slot, like Cam mentioned, and also the trend to the north, we'll see what happens over the next couple of runs here. But I'm not liking it so far. So let's see when this ends up happening here. Yeah, I know a lot of people in Southeast Arkansas are, sad. And like I mentioned before, as much as you guys have been dealing with the severe weather down there, I would have loved for you guys got a little bit of snow. But unfortunately, it's not how the weather works here in Arkansas. You guys are going to be seeing likely a cold rain down there at this point. So, yeah, Jared, if you're a snow lover, you needed this in December 2022 when we had that big Arctic blast come through here. Because had you had a system this magnitude come through at that time, then what would have ended up happening is you'd had a pretty much a record-breaking snowfall event. But unfortunately, the pattern just didn't support a strong storm system at the time. It just supported a massive Arctic blast coming south, which, by the way, we'll keep an eye on that for by the time we get towards the February time frame here. We'll watch it closely here. So do I expect any more watches and warnings? At this moment, no, until you get the uncertainty resolved. I wouldn't put any more watches or warnings out until you get the uncertainty to kind of answer itself over the next 12 hours here. So the next live is going to be 8 o'clock in the morning. Travel impacts, especially up there in the river valley. I would say don't do it Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. Throughout the day on Wednesday, we'll have to watch the temperatures. But I would not travel tomorrow night or Wednesday morning if you're in the river valley. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that at this point. So I know praying that the low sinks south, bringing the Stuttgart. I know it's just a warm intervention hurting you guys down there. And I don't know if Goddess is doing this correctly. It's just a gut feeling that it's overestimating the warm air advection. It's trying to do it, especially when you have a significant severe weather maker along the Gulf Coast. It's just no way that all that warm air advection is going to come northward unless you didn't have a severe threat along the Gulf Coast. But we'll keep an eye on it, guys. I think that is really it in terms of everything I had to go over tonight. Timing, there's your timing. And like I mentioned before, there's the ongoing winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories. If the trend to the south is noted, there could be some advisories issued along I-30 to the 167 corridor. But at this moment, I'm not expecting this thing to come into southern and southeastern Arkansas. I hope I'm wrong. For those that are wanting to snow, let it overperform and let this thing go to the south at this point. So this is the last update for the night. Yeah, it is last update of the night. Cam is going to post the graphic as soon as this live stream is over. And then I'll be here first thing, bright and early, when the roosters are out at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, giving you guys an update in terms of what's going on at this point, guys. So I think that is it. That's all I got at this point. Sleet at this point up there in Jonesboro. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not confident in putting a sleet map out just yet, but we'll watch the trends over the next couple of runs, over the next 12 hours, and we'll keep an eye on that, guys. So Northwest Arkansas, enjoy it. You guys are solid. Central, if you want snow, you need this low to track to the south like it has been. If it trends to the north, then it's going to be a cold rain for you guys up there at this time. Murfreesboro, Southwest Arkansas, questionable right now. Let's see what happens. That warm air advection kind of counters it. Then it likely won't happen, but it's about a 50-50 shot at this current point here, guys. So I think that's really it. Just stay with us, guys. Remain patient. A lot of people are asking questions. And we'll continue to keep you guys updated right here. Your source for all things Arkansas weather.